This chicken pot pie is the ultimate in comfort food. It's got a rich, buttery pie crust. It's filled with chicken and vegetables and a rich, creamy sauce. It is so delicious, your whole family is gonna love it. Hi, I'm Lindsay from Life, Love, and Sugar, and today we're making chicken pot pie. A couple of the things that I love about Challenge Butter is that it's made from very fresh milk. It goes from farm to fridge in just 2 days, and you can feel good about feeding it to your family because there's no added hormones or fillers. It's a great, great butter, and I just love using it. So we're gonna be using that in our chicken pot pie today, so let's head over to our stove and get started. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna wanna do is add our celery and chicken to our pan with some water. You want to have enough water in your pan so that you've got the chicken pretty well covered. And we're just going to turn the heat up and boil everything in here until the chicken is nice and cooked. All right, so when your chicken is looking like it's cooked through, you can go ahead and turn off your burner and take your chicken and celery out of the water. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and melt our butter. All right, so once your butter is melted, we're gonna go ahead and add our onion. We're gonna go ahead and cook this until it's tender and translucent. Should just be a couple of minutes. All right, so now we're gonna add some flour and our salt and pepper and some dried thyme. And we'll whisk all those together. All right, so you just want to make sure you get all those lumps out so you don't end up with a lumpy sauce. And now we're going to add some heavy whipping cream. And we're going to add our chicken broth as well. You just kind of want to add a little bit at a time just to make sure you're not getting a lumpy gravy here. All right, so at this point we're just going to let this simmer and sit for a little bit, stirring it pretty regularly to make sure it doesn't burn, and let it thicken until it gets to be kind of a thick gravy consistency. So if you like a little soupier filling, you can cook it a little less time. If you like it a little thicker, you can cook it a little bit longer. Just keep in mind that the thicker this is, the thicker your filling will be in your pot pie, and also it'll thicken up a lot as it sits. All right, so it's looking nice and thick and gravy-like. So we're gonna go ahead and add our chicken and celery and our veggies in. We're gonna stir all this into our gravy. All right, so we're just gonna leave this here on the stove, and then we're gonna get our pie crust ready in our pie pan. So the next thing we're gonna wanna do is put our pie crust into our pie plate. And we're going to be using 2 pie crusts, one on the bottom and one on top, so you don't need to crimp your edges yet. Okay, so now we're at our filling. Pour that in. We'll spread this out into our pie crust. And then we'll top this with our second pie crust. All right, so at this point you can fold your edges under and crimp it or do whatever kind of design on the sides you'd like. Mine, I'm going to keep it somewhat simple and just use a fork and just add a little design on the edges here. And now you'll want to cut a few slits into the top of the pie crust so that it can vent while it bakes. And then we will brush a little bit of beaten egg on top, and that'll help kind of crisp it up and give it a nice golden brown color when it's in the oven. All right, so now you've got your chicken pot pie, and we're going to pop it in the oven to bake for about 20 minutes. After that, you'll want to put a pie crust ring around the outside so it doesn't brown too much, and then cook for maybe another 10 minutes. So once your chicken pot pie is done baking, you can serve it to your family. It's delicious, it's wonderful, I know you're gonna love it. And of course it's made with my favorite Challenge butter. So for the full recipe, head over to lifeloveandsugar.com.